I was hoping to give Malcolm a few minutes. Was wanting to talk about today because he was coming over, and I was talking with a lot of people, telling that Malcolm was going to be coming over, and I was going to show him some places around here that um, Bigfoots are, and their traps and things like that. But we actually got if I can back this up. We actually got an opportunity to go and track. Hey, Malco, you made it. I was just talking about. Oh, I didn't put that picture up. Hmm. Hmm. Well, this is a StreamYard, and I don't really know how to work it. But I was wanting to try to share this screen or something, and but it's not letting me. No, I can't get it, Cliff. Malcolm, sorry. Michelle, Cliff. Um, I was wanting to put a picture of mm, of some footprints and some traps that Malcolm and I went out um, this morning, and I'm just getting out of the shower and jumping on here real fast, and um, Malcolm just made it home, and but I was wanting to kind of talk about today because we um we went tracking, and uh well, we went to a friend's house, and we asked permission to do some tracking on his land, and we said that once we're done, we'll report back to him. Mm. Um, so as soon as we pulled up to his house, and we could hear the crows start crowing, and then whenever we after we got permission, we went back to the car, and when we opened the car, the crows went off again. And I said, well, they know we're here, so that's how we started. And then we went over the um, towards the horses, or which would be back east, and we're gonna circle back around, hit the back, and come all the way back around. Or I was wanting to do like a full circle, go out just a little wider, and you'll always find something doing that, going a circle. But there was a pond back there, and that's where we was going to go and look for tracks and things like that. And the owner of the land told us, where the creeks are, where the ponds are, and so like in some of the earlier um, segments, we talked about tracking and things to look for, and um, even spider webs, and that's how we maneuvered through. There was a path there. I mean, a couple paths, but uh, and you could tell that they had just been used like at least a day or two, and it was like 30 yards. We were um, we started seeing all these signs, but from the house, just looking in from the edge, it looked like nothing was wrong. But once we got past that 30 yards, we started seeing, more of the stick formations. The fence, had logs on them. There was trap areas. There was those bridges we talked about. We had to test about if there's a bridge there, that's a trap, and both sides are occupied. And that's where we found some prints also. Um, so we were just doing it the way, we normally would, and we found where they marked areas for ambush spots, um, where they had a ravine where they could run game into the ends, and at each end there was like blockages, so it was like a trap, especially on this back, this other, the one back east. That one had like a netted fence, and you could see all this um, where animals were there, but um, there was no animal marks going out, big clumps. And but of course, there's raccoons. Well, not really a lot. It only seemed like a couple. And there was a cat out there, and a dog or a wolf. I mean, a coyote. A couple deer. We seen and we recorded one because we as soon as we walked out to the edge or just barely in, we held position because of the crows. So we stood there for maybe, I would say, hour and a half probably, or um, so we just wanted to survey and see what happened, what's going on, and that's whenever we seen the pig or piglets, or Malcolm seen the piglets moving in, and he also seen the same deer that I seen also, but I seen it later. Um, and so we let everything, you know, go like it's supposed to go. And then once we knew that everything was pretty secure, because we did hear some chatter or some conversation on both sides of us, and that's whenever the crows were going off too. So that's whenever we held our position. And then we started, yeah, every bit of an hour and a half, we stayed in that one position. And we just watched and surveyed. And Malcolm had his binoculars. I used the thermal. I have also a camera or binocular camera, and that's where I like recorded some of the deer and stuff out there. But you can see that they're not disturbed. And whenever we first kind of went out there, the horses kind of, you know, didn't know what we was doing. So we went around and just kept letting them know that they were not, we weren't interested in them. we're just going over here, and they eventually, pretty well calmed down, but we could still hear crows in the back, so we still held our position. And then we started moving down. Then we started looking for tracks. Once we knew everything was clear, and nature was back to nature. That's when we started moving from shadow to shadow and tree to tree, and we was tracking there. There's a couple. There was a couple, like a medium sized one and a small one, and there was a big one. Yeah, it was really out there, and but they kind of had their own areas, it seemed too, and but and it was hot, um, and I was like, because we was way, I don't know how many miles we probably tracked, but also when you're tracking like that, you're not moving. You're not making noise. You're not moving fast. You're not um, you're not in a hurry, and that's more strain on your body, more time in the heat, um, your legs and everything, and drink water. But since we're allowed a little time, I can still tell you about this day, but I want to try to load some pictures, and then at least I can turn the webcam around, and but that Malcolm, that track was 21 inches. I know it seemed bigger than that, and maybe I just marked it wrong, but that's where I felt that groove where we cut the um where we marked it, notched it, our spears, and Malcolm, he was going to send some pictures too of us out there, and so anyway, we start. Well, I'll try to I'll do a small film um with Malcolm. His whenever his yeah, that's still 21 inches was still big, and I was like, you know, but it was the wide. It was wide too. It was like what, 8 inches probably or something, probably like that or something. But I'll make a video with Malcolm's pictures also. Whenever he sends them to me, I'll make a video and I'll post that later. And you may even hear us whisper something if we was, saying something, or. But you'll see how we were tracking in some of the film, the terrain, and it won't be too long, but it'll be interesting just to see what we found out there. And this area also, there's a documentary by Bigfoot Odyssey, and which I got kicked off of or putting time out or something. But but his name is Mark Copeland, and as far as his documentary, um, we came out on the Highline wires, and because we was way back there, and then we was going to just come back, and then I was going to show him some other places um, that there was more pull downs, more traps, and things like that. But we were just scouting this new area because I've always wanted to scout this area, and I never had before. And so Malcolm, it just worked out that we was able to go, and the owner was there. He's a good friend. He said, of course, and I told him we'll come back and give him a report. And um, And he said we can come back there anytime, but we didn't mention the Bigfoot or the couple, a couple of Bigfoots because they're not. They do come a little close to his house, but they're not coming up to his house. Except like the young ones, it looks like they're coming just behind this big tree and just kind of looking and stuff because they do have dogs and cats, and I think cat also. But once we got to that pond, I mean, because we went slow. We checked out all these traps. We took pictures of the traps, um, and things to show you what to look for. We was taking pictures of their markers, footprints, scrapes, and uh, I was wanting to show Malcolm some of these other scrapes that I found, and but you can see like the claws really deep in them, like a cat's claw, and it goes straight up, and that's one of the nights we was on alert because it was so close to us. So, but we didn't have time because whenever we got back, um, we got there about 10:30, I believe, and we came back right before 8 o'clock. So that's what? How many hours? 10 hours probably or something like that. But it was hot out there, and we had spears. We both had our knives, which both our knives are like this, and I had my shotgun. And like I said, people don't have to bring their weapons if they don't want to. That's fine, but I'm going to bring mine because I know, there are some big things out there. And so we found a lot of prints and everything, and then um, we found that last one. It was the 21-inch one. It was good size, and we both put our feet on both sides of it, and it wouldn't even fit in the picture that's on the front of here. And so I had to make that one smaller too. I mean, because you only see like half of our foot, but it still went back because it goes all the way back to the back of our heels too. And but in the picture, you only see up to like the front of our feet. But then we made it back. We tracked back, and we took the shortcut back. It was getting sun was going down. It was hot, and it was really time for us to get back too. Or I would have never made this um, broadcast time. And I want to show these pictures to you and everything, and I will. I'll get that video made. I don't know how. I'm new to StreamYard. If anybody knows how I can load some pictures on StreamYard, um, I don't know who. And Malcolm just sent me some pictures, some good pictures, because you can see the toes, and let me see if I can get this one to. I think I can split the screen and turn this one around. I'm gonna just try at least one and see what happens. And if I can get one, then I can get them all. Mm-hmm. But we didn't take enough water, which that is our fault. Cause I mean, we made it, but it was really getting hot, I guess you would say, with no water out there. I'm splitting this screen now. I'm going to see if. I really don't want to chance it either. If I lose y'all, I will come right back. I want to see if I can get um, Malcolm. You are a brave man. Oh, is that the first time out tracking? Hey, yeah, I wish I could get Malcolm on here. Like, if anybody knows how I can split the screen, well, I load these um pictures. Malcolm can also tell you his version, and well, I don't know how to do that really. um, and I don't want to lose the stream. So whenever we waited till all the crows, calm down, and whenever we was just leaving, because we was ready to go, and we was almost there. So we was still careful, but we wasn't as careful because now we got to climb this last hill, and so this crow went off. Thank you, Malcolm. Malcolm says, first time out with a teacher, learned a lot today, Cliff. Yeah, we seen them firsthand. I mean, they were, and anyway, that guy Mark Copeland with Bigfoot Odysseys. I think it's episode 88 or 87. I don't want to be wrong. 86, 87, 88, something like that. But there are some other ones from around this area also on Bigfoot Odyssey. And there's a woman called Lady in the Woods, I think, or Lady of the Woods. And she's over by Finley, and she reports them. And that's all around here. And people just don't believe, Um, Cliff Bays says that's awesome. Takes some real guts to go out there and do that. Much respect, Malcolm. Yeah, and Malcolm knew what he was doing. Um, and we used the spider web to maneuver through everything. And but of course, they knew we were there. They had eyes on us because all the we were in locations where their traps were. I mean, we knew where all the traps were. We went right to them and checked them, and that's where we found the marks, the prints, and things. And when the locust was going ch, 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 out there, that's whenever we would step. So you couldn't hear our steps, and so we was using things like that to maneuver. Um, we went and checked all the traps, and we found prints all around the trap, on both sides, which we talked about, and some of the tests was over. Um, yeah, yeah, we was really stealthy. We did the 5-step stop. Just go a little bit, check everything out. We stayed in the shadows. We maneuvered where the Bigfoot would maneuver, not out there in that trail where all the horses, the cows, the deer, except for that last part whenever we were trying to get from the the ending to the next pasture over as quickly as possible. But we still used the cover. When the wind would blow, that's when we would move, so that we also wouldn't be moving while everything was standing still. Um, we both had gloves. You need gloves out there. You don't want to be scraping up your knuckles and uh, having blood scents and but we took a lot of pictures of a lot of these traps, and you know, Malcolm says I hadn't thought about that, but it's a lot of fun. Yes, it is because, and we never had that, um, even the thought of worry. We knew what we was doing, what we was looking for, and but we could also tell, it hadn't been in the area for like a day or two. So all the tracks that we were finding, except for the fresh stool, and it was a little one that was out there too, and we got marks and prints of that. And I didn't know it, but Malcolm had the casting. Well, there wasn't. Yeah, there. I mean, it wasn't deep indented. It was because they were walking on hard ground, but they would have a trail kind of cleaned, and the Bigfoots would be walking on the leaves, and you could see the imprints on the leaves also. But they wasn't walking on the trails with the animals. They was walking on the side or on this side, or like like we said, when you're scouting your area, go at least 30 yards in, and then start looking backwards. Start looking, and we were doing that, and we were looking at the back of the trees and claw marks we found where they were sitting up on um, trees and sitting facing our friend's house, a little ways out. So they are facing that house, or at least sitting there, because it is a deer trail. It looked like, and we was we could have tracked these back, or at least to where they came in and crossed. Except we had to go to the pond, and which was way further up and back across, and then circle back, and then we come back, and that's where we found uh, the trees that are laid over the barbed wire, and we were talking about that. That's where they point to where their house or their home or their den is, and where they'll be at, and that was facing all like the real thick brush and thing, and but we maneuvered by the spider webs, and that's where we found the other trails. So if you do that, because these Bigfoots, they know their trails. If that's their hunting areas, that's why they run quicker, because they know that this trail's marked. Um, but they also know that if you hit those spider webs, and they didn't do that, then I mean, you would know. It's like, but we found those, and there was some prints that we couldn't get to check out and see what they were. I mean, it was across another person's property. So we just followed that ravine, and that's where we found all the other marks, the ambush spots, and they were stacking, and we got the photos of that too, and where they stacked the brush and the limbs all in front, so they could sit in the back and just watch all the animals come down that ravine. And it was like they had places where they could just step in and pick them up, and it was um, Cliff Bays. Can you explain the sticks again, please? What direction it faces and what that means. Um, Actually, I told Malcolm wrong, but it's where the point, um, where the point is, the where no, I told you right. Where the point is up, that's where their den is. Um, um, but it's a marker. Like if they see that, I mean, they have places marked out there to where um, if they're coming up on that bridge with the log out there, they have their own places where they can blend in, like behind a tree or um, very predator-ish, stealthy, ambushy on game trails, and they even lay traps out there. So we have those on video too. Um, but those point to their homes, to their location. So and well, we wasn't out there, but if we was out there about 5:30, still, you would have heard that whistle that we talked about. We heard the single cricket, the single, and the two singles talking to each other. Um, but we actually outmaneuvered the crows and everything and got around them without them even, being set off. But that's just knowing that if we don't, and that's what we talked about, not to be the disturbance, just, you know, going there like, you're not even there. And that's where we was moving um, to get from point A to point B. But we was using their trails. Um, and you could see where they were walking on the side of game trails like we were talking about, um, where they had their markers. Um, and it looked like everybody had like their own hunting area. And like we talked about 30 yards out, um, Faith Walker says, smart, never thought of that. Um, which part? uh, and Malcolm says, but it gets serious in this area because they are there. And it is very dangerous when you see the prints and odd areas. It it gets really, really fast. Yeah. And like we were also, because me and Malcolm, we've seen these before, and so we was like, we don't have to prove anything to people, but we'll get the photos of the prints, and talk about how fresh they are, or how you can use know that stuff, and oh, Faith Walker about the spider webs, yeah, I but and we talked about that, but I don't know if you were about how they'll use the spider webs as traps, and that's whenever we're going through them, they know somebody's here, but they knew we were there. We knew that we had eyes on us, and but we maneuvered, really well to where we didn't set off. We was not a disturbance out there. I mean, you would not have known that we were out there, and I mean, we blended in. Um, I was wearing like a camouflage and a darker gray bandana, and but I also had my that binocular camera, my thermal. We had that out there whenever we were in areas that we had to cross over or get in the sun for a little bit. We would scan. Malcolm would use his binoculars. We was checking everything out before we made our move. And but that's where we was finding some traps too, right there where we had to cross over too. I mean, we walked across and we could see traps and ambush spots actually. And um, then we jumped a big doe. Well, no, no, a big doe jump that was running across. Whenever we come around the bush, and then we got down, but you could there was a something that had jumped a big doe, and she was running in the back, and we caught her running in the back. So we waited to see what was happening, if something was coming, or even a coyote, something. But nothing moved for like quite a while. So, and we would do that. We would sit there and see if there was a disturbance, if there was a knock, or there were some wood knocks out there. Um, there were some grunts, um, but we maneuvered well out there, and that's the kind of people you want to go out there with. You don't, I mean, camping with, I guess you would say, because we will be doing a lot of things different. Um, like what we talked about, and this is for the group also, so it's okay that we can talk about this. But just knowing all this stuff and that practice this stuff and remember this stuff, and so that when out there, if you're leading, because when there's a group, you the first one will be looking, just like the military. First one will be looking forward. Second one will be looking to the right. This is your position. This is your where you look, and then the other one looks this way. The other one looks in the back, and then when you get to that place, you all, you know, get together and just scan. You know, stay there a little while. See what's going on before you tromp through there. But you always see so many people making noise and backpacking in, but they don't ever survey what's going on before they go out there. And but it was different with Malcolm. I mean, we knew what we was doing, and we knew what directions. We knew the sounds. That's when we was taking some good video too, and some good pictures. Um, we didn't trip any sensors because we knew what they were. We got pictures of them, the traps and things like that, and where they crossed rivers and tried to, a young one, I think. Um, but uh, is there anything you want to add, Malcolm? I mean, because Malcolm got to see everything too, and it was just good that the whole group, and we talked about that too, that the whole group, whoever's going camping with us, we should get together, at least a day or two before, if you could, or something like that. But also, we're going to be showing you on that first night of camping some spots where tracks are, or um, where all these traps are too. And we're going to take the group around and um, show that this town has Bigfoots too, and then we'll track up in the mountains, and we'll of course we'll do the same thing. We'll scout, get to that spot, and just sit there and let's see what's going on. And but the thing is, like we do, is we let them make that movement first, or that mistake first. We don't disrupt nothing, and we survey for a while, so that when it's clear, that's when we move. If everything's calmed down, if the everything's back to normal, that's when we move. Malcolm he says, you're going to love the pictures. Few knocks, whistles, and chatter. Really had to maneuver to stay out of their traps. Yeah. Yeah, and it was good that we knew their traps. I mean, they was everywhere. And we got pictures of them where they set their ambush spots, and Malcolm's got some good pictures, and um, Malcolm says, or Cliff says, "Wow, all right," and Malcolm says, "Not sure if we got much audio, but still have to look at all of it." Um, I know I was doing some audio, um, when the crows were going. Um, when Malcolm whispers to me something like, "They're over there," or that would not just happen, or if we had it, and you'll hear stuff like. But we were whisper. I mean, we was like close to whisper. I mean, we didn't make noise. Although I did hit two spider webs, and oh man, and when I did that, I was like, oh god. Or if like I clinked something, um, I thought my phone was off. I'm looking at Malcolm like, turn your phone off, and he goes, "That's not my phone." I'm like, "Oh no!" And I said, "I thought I turned it." God. Okay. Um, so then when that happened, we had to sit there and wait till everything calmed back down and went, because the crow started letting everybody know that something just went off in the woods, and so we had to sit there and wait and watch, uh, and we got pictures of those spider webs in the sun where we were talked about that they use the sun, and if you don't know that, I mean, it's an open looking path. It looks like a lit path, but in that light, if you look real close, and we took pictures of this all over the place. They were thin lines, and it was like walking through where those lines, if radar or laser lines, it was just like that, and that's how we were maneuvering through, and we'd do our 5-step stops and check everything out, get down when we had to if we heard something, figured out where it was coming from. And Malcolm has better hearing than me, and I have better eyes than him. So we was, kind of like a team, And but we made it. We made a good team, and we talked about that because we both knew how to maneuver. Both knew, especially that we knew that it was going to be. Sometimes you get exhausted out there. I mean, so that's why we always talk about training, getting used to it. And that was like a practice too, because we was out in some heat, and we were out there for 10 hours, something like that. And Cliff Bass says, so if you run into a spider web, they know where you are at. The web is like a trap of sorts, question mark. Yes. And that's what we were avoiding. I mean, but we avoided all the traps out there that, normal people would have just walked right through them. Then these predators would have knew next time they come to check those traps, they would be like, "Oh, somebody's out here," or food is out here. Basically, is what way they think food is out here. So yes, Cliff, if you run into them, they know, and there's traps all over the place. There's brush laid on pathways, like we talked about. Um, the bridges, of course. There was this one place where this tree was pushed over like this, and a cedar tree was. I mean, it was growing right there, but you could tell it was pushed over. And if you would have walked through that, which the pathway was right there, that you would have hit that cedar tree, and it would have just went like this. And yes, sometimes we did um, hit like a limb or something with our spears, but we real quickly put our spear up there and caught it and slowed it back down. So any kind of disturbance like that we might have caused ourselves, we corrected fast. We didn't let the trees keep swinging back and forth. We stopped it and got it back to normal as quick as possible. And uh, it was a good time, a good practice. But we do know the Bigfoot are out there. I didn't share that with my friend, but like we talked about, I'm going to call him tomorrow, give him my phone number, and just say that if you ever want some company out there, or if you want to, if you need anything, just let me know and I'll come out and visit. Which um, he liked our visit and he liked Malcolm. Uh, and I didn't even introduce Malcolm and Tom, or sorry, Malcolm and my friend. Um, but they introduced each other. And I was like, oh yeah, like, and but my friend's like, oh, who's this? uh, but when I asked him for permission, I've known this guy for a long time, and he's a great guy, and he's known me since I was, younger, and or but we've known our families have known each other for a long time, so I knew it'd be okay, it'd be no problem, uh, asking him if we could track on his land, and I think he was kind of hinting around about uh, the deer and hunting and stuff. And I told him, I said, I don't hunt. I said, um, I made my, you know, uh, pact, I guess you would say, many years ago. So I don't hunt deer or duck or things like that. But if we do need to eat or something out there, we will. But uh, so whenever I come back up, and I'm telling him, well, I don't hunt, everything like that. So I come back up. I've got my spear. I've got my shotgun around me. I got my knife in the back. I've got and Malcolm's pretty much the same way. And we're just drenched. It was hot. And the first thing we said was because my friend was up there waiting on us to come back, and we went up there. And I didn't even see that he was sitting out there. I was like, let's just get to the car, put our gear up, that we can go and see my friend. But he was up there outside waiting on us, and we got up there. Yes, Malcolm. Malcolm says, breaking a web is leaving your tracks. That is so true. Um, a lot of people don't know that, and they will just tromp through there, and just, I'm glad we are able to have this um, uh, stream, because the group is supposed to be, and some of y'all can still be a part of that group, I would say, because y'all know a lot already. The ones who, have been watching the other videos and are up to date with us, that y'all would know, all the things to look for too. And like us, we were just out there, taking photos of all the marks, and we got one of where the same way I went down. I noticed that whenever I was coming back up, I didn't notice till I was coming back up, but there was dirt, or like a mud, like somebody stepped on that branch, and it was sturdy. So it was a big mud step up, and I looked at that like, God, dog, I'm walking in the same path as one of these Bigfoots. And I was like, we need to get off this path. And, so we cut back through, and we went to go check the other trap. And that's what we talked about, because when we noticed all these traps, we're like, well, let's go check this trap out first, and then we'll turn around and come back in this back direction to check this trap. And then, we was looking in everything. I mean, but we could tell it'd been at least a day or two, except for that one fresh one. But we didn't follow that track. We didn't follow that trail because we had to go the other way. So the other ways were a day or two, but that one track was still fresh, and we could have tracked. Faith Walker says this is so helpful. I'm glad, and I'm glad that the group is able to see this too. And like Malcolm, I mean, we're all part of the same group, and Malcolm says, or Faith Walker says, this is so helpful. Yes. Oh, I read that one. Malcolm says, looking forward to meeting everyone at camp. Yes, there's some on here. I know they're listening because they always tell me, I was listening there, and they're part of the group. Who's going? It's free. Well, I mean, you have to get here and all that, and because um, but we will be taking y'all to some places where we're going to show you some traps up there. And when you look at the map of missing and murdered, the cluster map, and you can find that on 411 with David Pilates, I believe. His missing 411. There's a map on there, or I think you can Google it. Maybe it's on Pinterest or something, but you can Google missing and murdered, or no, missing people's cluster map or something like that. And you'll see that where we're going to be first at, where we're going to go by and show you these traps, that's a spot that's right on there for missing people, and it's a cluster. So of course, we're gonna have um, our gear. Like I said, I'm bringing my gears. That's how I go into the woods. That's how I travel. Even though it was heavy, hot, tired, I still made sure that I carried what I needed just in case we ran into a 21-foot or 21-inch Bigfoot. I have to drink water. um, Cliff Bays says, am I saying it right? Right, Bays or looks like or Bays? Um, hopefully, just correct me. He says, "Wish I could make it there in person. For now, I will be learning remotely and hoping to stay alive while out hiking solo." Laugh out loud, but seriously, yeah. I would, but I see that you're on here quite a bit, so you you're getting the benefit. I mean, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna know what's going on. You're gonna scout your areas. I mean, bays, bays. Okay, okay. Thank you for correcting me. So I hate because some people be like, no, that's not how you say it. Cliff also says, I hope to make a trip to Oklahoma at some point to meet you in person and join in on the experience. Yeah, we were talking about that. We wanted to uh, kind of expand and maybe have some more camps and things like that, so that um, people see all this information and all this. They can have their own proof if they want. That kind of deal. But everybody would get to learn at the camps. And if a lot of people who don't watch this who are going to be at camp, we're going to go over this again at camp. We're going to talk about um, the things that we've already been doing, what to look for, the ancient stories, everything that we've been doing on this channel. We're going to be talking at camp for the people who don't have that information. That's the first day that we're going to do that, and we're going to go to another location, to have our meal, to talk, to plan so that we're all on the same page. Then we're going to go look at some traps, and then when it's time for us to camp, that's when we're going to roll in, and we're going to roll in like just like uh, Malcolm did today. You don't even from that longest road. You take your time. Don't go making a big disturbance right off the bat, even though, if they got their sentries up at that time or looking in that direction, you will be spotted. And But we also knew that we were standing in spots that were being observed, not for us, but for anybody who would hit this trap. That cedar tree would sway or something. So we knew that we was right in view, whether they were there or not. But we knew, and that's when we were using hand signals, and which I'm glad that Malcolm knew a lot of the hand signals, and because we were talking that way. Um, and that's also things that we'll go over that first night together. Um, Also, we're gonna have a call, and I do recommend if you're out with a group and if y'all get separated somehow, that you have your own calls. Like we're gonna have two certain distinct calls, and also you need to do this. Also, it's like your first call could be of like a whippoorwill or something. And so both of y'all communicate that way so y'all can find each other and do it twice. And if you hear one somewhere else, something else is already mimicking to call you this way because it sees you going towards that other one. And so use that only two times. Then switch to another call because they've already, and they can mimic any bird, cricket. So whatever sound you're going to make, they're going to make. But when you make a second call and it's a different call and both of y'all are still moving at the same direction, this will throw them off because they're about to call with that first call. But if you change it up on that second one, you will pinpoint that they're out there, and they'll know that they messed up. Basically. So, and that you two are working together. You're strategically working together. Um, Malcolm E says Southeast Oklahoma is one of the most active areas. There's a lot of investigators in the area because of all the activity, but glad to share our experience with everyone. Yes, me too, because these things are out there, and that's why we were talking that we can find these things. I don't know why, and we've seen these things already, and they're supposed to be. Malcolm says, "Help" with all capitals. He goes, "No, just kidding. Bigfoot uses that one." Yeah, he would have. If they were in the area, we would have found them. And because we was looking in every one of their traps and right where they're supposed to be at. And the only thing I could think of is that, they just came through there about 2 days ago. I mean, because the clay was still dry, you could tell it was crusted a little bit, not much. So, and the indentions in the leaves, they were still kind of fresh. I mean, as far as a day or two, because you could still see the marks. And like that one picture that Malcolm found, and but his phone went out uh, 20 minutes in 30 minutes, I guess. Was it Malcolm? Malcolm's like, oh, my camera's out. And I was like, oh, okay, let me. And then I started using mine, and but Malcolm's got some good pictures, and we got some good pictures, and our group is supposed to meet on September, and I forgot that announcement. I can't believe I did that again. But our we meet on because I just jumped on here real fast. I was like, it's 9:32 or 3, and I was like, let me do that real fast, and so I forgot the announcements. But I do want everybody to remember that the camp, it's for a ceremony. We're just going to go to the waters and thank the waters. Let the waters know that we're here. We're still fighting, and we're a part of you. And then, but that first day we're going to be scouting in other areas before we get to our camp. And so the camp will be like a virgin camp. We're just going to come in, set up camp. I mean, 5 minutes, get in our positions, and get ready for the night, take our shifts, because someone will always be awake, and someone will always have a thermal. Someone will always have a night vision, and we're going to set up some cameras out deeper if we get that chance. Malcolm says so many picks. Yes, we got a lot of. There was a lot of traps. There was a lot of spider webs. There was a lot of um, knocks and sounds, and I hope we got those. I mean, I'm gonna check all my film too. Uh, but every time we heard a knock or something, we would just kind of look at each other like yeah, I hear it too. And so we also ran into the crow at the end, or the cawing one. Uh, Cliff Bays. He says, I believe. I love seeing pics and hearing audio, but I do not need proof. Good, because we don't need it, because we know we're like. Um, he says, I am just trying to learn how to properly, safely avoid them, so I can confidently go into the national forest nearby for exercise. Yeah, I mean, once you know or scout that area, give it a good 30 yards this way, 30 yards that way, 30 yards this way, and you're not going to see any disturbances facing out from your running path. It's going to look like good trees, but on the back of those trees or further down, that's where they got traps for animals, but they're still watching that path where you're running. And so scout your area. Um, but and use those scents. Let your body, like we were talking about, let your body sense them. Use your nose. Look for ravens. Look for crows. Um, I mean, once you remember to use all these things, that you'll find them, or you'll find where they were setting, or you'll find some of their traps, the brush that lays across, and things like that. Um, so everyone in our group is supposed to, we're going to go over this again. If someone doesn't fully get all this, or hasn't been since the beginning, or hasn't went back and watched the videos, which I do recommend, that Cliff Bays, he says, I love the beautiful and open public spaces. And after going down the Bigfoot rabbit hole with David, missing 411, aliens, I just need to build my confidence back up. Laugh out loud. That's why I am here learning. Yes, and I'm glad we're able to share all this, because I didn't really know how to. Like I said, I got cut off everywhere. And like Malcolm, he was telling me some stories and stuff like that today, and I was just listening. I didn't say a word. I let him tell me the story. I didn't interrupt. I was just listening, because that's how you get all the information. Now, if I was, I mean, we did have just regular conversations, but when he was telling certain things, I was real quiet, um, and and we would do that. We would, when one of us would talk, the other one was quiet, so we got that information. And even with the whispers, we were doing that also. And that's certain techniques and things like that, and to high step over, but we got got a little tired, but always high step, because there are spider webs on the bottom too. I mean, you got to look in that light, because you see, and some of them are just big enough for someone to bend over and go through, all fours, or an animal. But any higher, you would hit a spider web, another trap. But we found them all. Um, if it was not the right place, we would move to the next place, until we found the right place to go forward or go in, without being too much on, their track, or the game trail track. We try to have our own track. Um, Faith Walker says, I noticed in some of your older videos that y'all do a little tap with your foot before you step down. Is that what you are doing? Um, I'm not sure. I know what you mean. We do a tap. Is that like I don't know, Faith. I don't even want to guess. But give me just a little bit more information. Tap with my foot or foot. Hmm. Just sit down. Hmm. I'm trying to remember what video I did that or which one or there's a lot of them. Maybe I just do it naturally. I don't. But um, I'll try to. If you can send me that video, I'll know what you're talking about. But I'm a little lost for words on that one. Um, I did forget about doing the announcements because I just jumped on real fast, and so I want to do those just real fast. I am scheduled for the podcast Chalk Talk, Native Chalk Talk, CHOCTALK, on the 26th. I think that's also my last day of free streaming. So I don't know how much it costs, but hopefully I'll have enough to do that. Faith Walker says it's almost like a double step to each footstep. Oh, are you talking about the rabbit dance? Um, oh, that I think that is that the Missing and Murdered film that we was working on where there's like four of us walking with spears and we're going up in the mountains and going through caves and things like that or up in the mountain area. There were several of you walking through the woods with spears. That's what I'm thinking. Um, oh, maybe whenever are you talking about when we were stopping and starting or but Faith Walker says I wondered if it was to make sure you're not breaking sticks and in the method of being more quiet. I don't know. I'm still not sure what we're talking about or what video. Um, but even with, I mean, you do use the spear also as like you were talking about as um, weight distribution. That's what I could say. So you don't embed deep tracks. Just like a Bigfoot will do. They'll go to fours, so they'll use their weight distribution, and so you'll hardly see prints. And but if you know what you're looking for, you're going to find these prints, and you'll be able to track it. If we didn't have to go to that pod, check for tracks and things like that, and that river in the back, that we would have stayed on that track, and we would have tracked it back to where at least it came onto the land, or where its den would be, because it could be a big tree and just you won't even see it unless you're like right up on it, or it'll have brush over it, or it'll just be a dark hole or something, and you won't even see it unless you just track them back. But we have tracked them back to places where they hide or their dens are, and but too many people in the area that just didn't believe. So if we start something and you better be prepared when you start something with a 20-foot 21 foot inch. And that's why when I go out there, even though I'll get tired, because that stuff is heavy, because I want to make sure I got a weapon, I got a knife, I got a spear, you know, and then plus, if you're going to carry a little bit of film equipment or something with you, that's added weight. So we had a camera, and I wish we had batteries, or wish we remembered to get batteries, because I did leave the GoPro, and I hope I didn't leave that in your car, Malcolm. I'm not sure if I did or not, but or I'll look in these things again for that small little GoPro. I'm not even sure if I took it out of my pocket because I was tired. I got the car, and but I need to. We left that GoPro as soon as we heard something behind us. I put that little GoPro on a tree, and it's only like this, and so we moved and got to where we was behind a big tree, or right, in that area, so that we could kind of take cover and not be noticed for a while. And so I left it. I haven't looked at that yet. I mean, like I said, I just jumped on here and I still haven't got the announcements. And but yes, Faith Walker, yes, that's what we. I mean, you use that spear for everything, and like us, we're also using it to point out. And you'll see if you ever. Well, as soon as if we have I think we got some of that video taped of like we would push that spear. If you have a spear, you have your fighting hands, but when you are going to stick something, you'll let this one slide, and that other spear will come up, and you'll stop it right there. So you're actually going, you're sticking that spear all the way up through there. But we was actually doing that to point out traps or marks or footprints, or things like that, or you could see where they would sitting down on, and we got pictures of this too, of them sitting down on grass. I mean, not grass, but like plants, looking over these other traps. Malcolm says, I'll look to see, and I understand about the tired thing. That was something. I mean, I was getting there too, but I knew we only had a little bit further to go, and especially whenever we hit that, I finally, it'd been a while since I've been out there, but I remember that we can cut through this next area, and then just cut through diagonally, and but at first we was going to go over the next hill, then take the road back, which was twice as, maybe 2.5 times as far, and but I remember that little trail that goes through, so we took that, and I even told Malcolm, I said, there used to be an old house and a car out here, and I started laughing because probably about 10 more yards there was that car, um, and a tree had grown up between the windshield, uh, where the windshield would be. So technically that car is probably still good because the tree just went through the windshield. I mean, except for the bottom. And that was a good sized tree. So we took pictures of those too, and then we actually jumped a deer. Coming back, it was up closer to the house, but we actually jumped that because we was like, let's just get back to the house, and because we still had a hill to climb, but we still, we didn't make like noise. But we kept a good pace, and we stopped when we needed to. We made sure that, and for the people of the group, this was like practice. So you're getting the experience of how we're actually going to be doing things like that. But we're going to be talking more in the first day of camp over the how we're going to use our hand signals and how to catch each other's attention, who's going to look where, whenever we're in a certain line or something. we're gonna go over all this. Um, and my I have two or three spears, I think, and they're oak, but I still need to sharpen those a little bit more because um, they give you an 8 foot reach no matter what. So even if you've got a 21-inch Bigfoot foot with a body, you still got a long reach. And if you know how to use your spear, you can still, jab right where you got to jab. If you do have a close encounter like that, I recommend that you do have a spear. And Malcolm says spears helps moving bamboo thistles also. Yeah, it sure will. And also, um, watch that cedar brushes that you go through. I mean, we did have to go through, I think, one part, but it was clear to come through that part, or we wouldn't come through that part. And I thought I was giving Malcolm a good break, and he goes, "Well, I'm ready when you are." Like, oh, okay. I was like, that wasn't even a good break. That was like, that was the right thing to do, the right time to say it because we did make it back and get to share our experience also with our friend who, gave us permission on the land. And but when we do get to camp, I will have my spear. It's an oak spear. It's real hard, and you'll get something if you have to. But like I said, we're not going there for confrontations or, but like today, if they're in the area, we're going to at least track to make sure that they're not in the area, and things like that. And because we don't need anything sneaking up on us while we're doing things. And that's, oh, I have that on Facebook. I gotta do the announcements on Facebook. Oh no, the first announcement was that it's um, August the 26th for Chalk Talk, and that's at 4:30 p.m. Podcast. Um, I'll be on that one, so and we'll be talking about um, Bigfoot also for the Choctaw. But if y'all are on there too, I'm sure hopefully they'll um, let people speak or do some comments. And I'd like to see some of y'all there, because y'all know more than the host will, and it's but it's only because she hasn't been taught, all this, but she may because I have been sending all this information to her, so she may be caught right up, and I bet she is because she's like a journalist. I would say she spends like 55 hours, I think she said, preparing for her podcast to make sure she got everything right, all the questions and everything. So just like today, we just came in and just wanted to tell you how we spent today, and because this has to do with our group has to know all this stuff, and I don't know why I say our group because it seems like everybody here on this page, as far as regular people, is you're a part of that group too, and so I guess we're now so whenever I say our group, that means everybody, who's keeping up because you know what we know, and we can have conversations. If we was to meet, somewhere, we could have conversations. We would understand each other's language, and and the Bigfoot Museum in Tallahassee, Oklahoma, is still scheduled to open in September. I haven't gotten the flyer yet, but when I do, I'll also bring this on here and post it. On Facebook, I do have two pages. One is Oklahoma Choctaw on the Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch, and in parentheses, antlers and surrounding areas. I also have Choctaw Missing and Murdered Woman, WOMBMAN, and Son Center and Database. That's 2 pages on Facebook. I am on Facebook jail right now for, I want to say, 20 more days. So go ahead and I'll add you on there. I can still do that, but I can't comment. I can't post videos. I can't, do anything like that. But I can still add people. And once we get done with the probation, I guess that we're gonna hopefully be able to start scheduling, and it will be starting to get cooler now, so we can schedule times that are cooler. But we were in a lot of shade underneath the trees. There was a lot of trees out there, a lot of them knocked down. So um, that was actually what helped us, was that we was walking in, but we used the shadows too. They want to hide in the shadows. We're going to hide in the shadows. I mean, we're going to use the shadows. We're not going to hide them. We're going to use the shadows. Um, Malcolm says, awesome on the museum. Yes. Good people. I've talked to them before. And we also talked about putting a display or a booth or something there. And, like some of these pictures that we're going to post um, as soon as we get them done, which maybe only take an hour or something after this broadcast, that you'll see exactly what we did today. And but I don't know if I'm able to get the my older computer broke kind of because the system went down. So they sent me another one. So I'm working with a kind of a new refurbished one, and so I'm kind of still working out the kinks. So um, it's going to take me a little while to get all the knickknacks down, but it won't take me long. I just gotta see whichever, all the buttons, what they do. Ah, I needed some water. We had a day. Faith Walker, I found the video. Is it Hunting the Demon one? Yes. Looking at it again. I think it was just to make sure footing wasn't secure in steep inclines. Super cool about the museum. Yeah. Oh, I know what. Yeah, yeah. She was just testing her ground without making noise. She was, trying to get in there and or pressing down the leaves in a certain way. So you'd go with the fold, and she did really good. And uh, but everybody, she got hurt, and everybody's changed a little bit. So we're looking at filming, and that's what we're telling people: bring your cameras to the ceremony, to the camp, and because we're gonna have a great, awesome time. Everybody's gonna get some good footage. Um, make sure we're there as early as possible. So um, I'll send out information on where we're going to be, where we meet up. Um, that's in about a week. So, or next weekend, actually, not this one coming, but the next one. Um, so by September 1st, um, so I'll have that information for you. And if anybody can live stream from there, like we did, and I think I posted a couple of live streams because I was using Malcolm's hotspot. So there might be some of us out in the area, the forest area, um, that you'll see, and I hope it loaded, and I think it did. I think there was 3, and then I just didn't want to waste the battery, so I just saved it, and but I did take video on the camera and things like that. So you'll hear some noises and knocks and things like that, I'm sure. Um, and I also, on one of these times, I was wanting to post some older video that I took like a year ago, I'd say, and it's got grunts also. It's got the sound of like coyotes, but you know it's not coyotes, and the way they talk. And so I'm going to share all that too with you, and some claw marks and things like that. But we all know it's real. It's out there. It's got different hunting areas, different territories, and we talked about all those things and everything that we talked about here when we was out there. It was all there, and we knew what we was looking for. We avoided all the traps and Malcolm, I'll tell you, when we were maneuvering through all this, you know, I mean, like he would sometimes put the spear up to let me know that there's a spider web right there, like I almost hit it or something. Because though they put them right in that sunlight, and they are hard to see. I mean, sometimes we had to sit there and go up and down, and then we'd finally catch one of them. And then the next area would be clear, so we'd take the next area. It was something though, and it was good having Malcolm and visit. He's visited before. He actually helped me move to this place, so we've been friends ever since. But we were kind of friends before. We were talking about things like this, and you know how everybody tries to get that feel of, do these people know, or do you know what I'm talking about? That kind of thing. But we realize that we both know what we're talking about, and that we have shared pretty much the same experiences and things, and totally in different areas, things like that. But we've both seen them, and so it was good having somebody there with you who knew how to maneuver, and that's why we're also going to maneuver when we get the group, or when we get together at for the first night. We're going to go over some certain things like that. But I am recommending that everybody who does come to the camp to watch all the videos, they get caught up, and if you haven't already, that we're going to be using all those techniques, what to look for, and we're going to be finding them, because these things are everywhere. And like I just wanted to go check out that place, because I heard there was another from other people that something big and furry ran across the highway whenever they were coming back from like a Toka area, and all of a sudden the deer took off, and then this big furry on all fours, like a blur. They said it was moving so fast. Was They crossed in front of them. They said, "Don't stop, keep going, keep going." And so I was always wanting to check this area out, and I heard a lot of things about this area, and we actually found the biggest footprint was the 21 inch. We did find smaller ones. I would say about a 7 inch, probably the smallest. I would say something like that. But we knew right where they were, crossing, um, where they set their traps up for the animals crossing. Um, but it was a good day today. I'm going to try to get that up. And Malcolm, if you haven't already sent me some of those pictures, or some video, send me some. I'll mix it with mine, and then I'll post that on YouTube. Probably not through this stream, but through the YouTube, and uh, then everybody will see what we did today. I had a great day, Malcolm. This is what I, like to do. And even though we got hot and tired, because it was a hot day, and what is today? Today is the 24th, Malcolm. In astrology, August the 24th is the hottest day of the year, because the sun's closest, and it's right at the tipping point. So tomorrow on the 25th, every 25th, the sun moves into a decline for the next mineral. And you'll see that. Put a stick in the ground. Well, no, you can't do it now. But tomorrow, the sun's going to move. If like me, I used to mop floors for the tribe, and But I knew that on every 25th that the sun would move. So while I was working there on the 24th, I'd mark it, and on that next day, it was always moved, and it would stay like that till the next time. And then that's things to know also with astrology. Like I said, we're going to get into more of the astrology also because I want everybody to know how to read all these charts, the Aztec Sunstone. Uh, the, everything I'm telling you is once we get through with everything, that once you look at these charts, you're going to say, I know the story. It's and you'll have that knowledge that a lot of people don't have, um, and you'll be cut off of TV shows. No, you'll be put in Bigfoot timeout if you go on someone else's channel and offer advice. But those other guys, they it seems like they're trying, but I hate to see them, run into problems on how they maneuver because I have seen some of the videos where they're just walking 90 to nothing, heading to the lake or whatever. I see some of them on their videos with they're talking to where you can hear them talk, smiling, kind of joking, that's not what we did. And Malcolm says, when you said where we were going, I was like, oh crap, but cool. This is so close to Mark Copeland's of Livewire. Yes, that's what it was, Livewire. Have a great day, or had a great day too. Thanks for the invite. Of course, it was the hardest. And that's kind of funny too. We could say that was the hardest trip. That was the hardest. But yeah, in astrology, August 24th, and I don't until I looked down to check what day it was. I knew it was around the time, but I don't really keep up with the days. I just got my things that we got to do for the next day, and uh, I still got a lot of things, and I still have to prepare. Because I want to give you direct, good knowledge. So that it's understandable and I don't jump around, kind of like I'm doing today. But I'm telling you exactly what we did all day. And Malcolm says that he has sent some to me. So, and that's through the email, Malcolm. And if it is, as soon as I get off here, because I can get the email on my phone, which is great, I can just download and put it together real fast. Um, and there's a lot of pictures, but a lot of good prints, and where we was at, and I even it's going to be a good one for y'all to check out, um, and if I can get the thermal also onto the on the computer, I'll also add some thermal because I want to look at some of those thermals. But we did all of that also, and we was always make sure that we knew what was what, where it was. We both had binoculars. Whenever we sat down to check something out, if we heard something, we'd check it out. We wouldn't move. We would um, run the thermals, or even on our breaks, we was running thermals. We wasn't like just on a break. I mean, we was still surveying. We had our guards up. We was aware, we was awake, and that's how we're going to be at the camp also. And we're all going to practice if we have to. If somebody hasn't watched this, or if they show up late, that we're gonna through Messenger. Thank you, Malcolm. Good, good. I can get that easy now. I can just save it, go through them, and save it on my phone, and so I can get that up. Was there any video? I'm not sure. And so it seems like this won't be the only camp that I'm thinking, because we do actually need to be scouting areas, so that these things either move on or, we can do something to solve that problem. Um, but people do need to scout and look, especially at these places that we're going to, because some of these people, they're isolated in areas like that. Malcolm said that he lived in a place that was kind of isolated, and so we all need to share this information, and so that when people go like Cliff was talking about going jogging and things like that in the national forest where a lot of these predators are, that and know that they have their own section for hunting. That you'll see those X's. It's like, this is my area. They'll put it up. If they didn't put it up, then they'll know someone put it up. Okay, Malcolm said that he sent a little or a couple, which is great. So we did have a great time. I want to, since Malcolm's sending all this right now, I'm gonna I'm gonna go ahead and close because I just wanted to share with you that we went tracking out today just to check the area out, and we did find a lot of traps, a lot of ambush spots, a lot of footprints, and that 21-inch footprint, which I think whenever we get off of here, that it will show up on like the picture for this segment, and you'll see it's bigger than both of our feet, and we his Malcolm's on one side, his foot's on one side, mine's on the other side, and then it's just like it's huge. So um, I'm gonna go ahead and close tonight. I had a great night, letting you know what we did today. Tomorrow we will get because I'm gonna load this in just a minute. Um, Cliff says, "Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge, Jerry. You're welcome. Uh, Actually, now it's our knowledge because the more that we get to share this, that it becomes. I mean, it is your knowledge. Like I tell people, I'm just helping people to remember because I see it, and I'm just helping people. Like, okay, remember, and now next you'll be like, I remember that symbol. I remember that story, and then you'll be like, oh, I can read this. So. Uh, I had a great time. We'll be back here tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. again. Um, and we're going to do part 3 of the story um, because today was, like a special day because Malcolm got to come in. We got to go tracking. Um, so I just wanted to come back and tell you what happened and put this video up. But tomorrow we're going to get back to part 3. And I written down um, what we were supposed to go over, but I was like, let me write it down because I got to push this aside until tomorrow, and we can take care of that tomorrow. But I need to share what we did today and all these pictures and videos because they are still here. These were like day old tracks that we found. One was the stool sample, or the stool, we didn't get a sample, but the stool was fresh still, at least a day, or if not earlier in this day. And so I'm going to get started on that. I'll get that up. And thank you, Malcolm, for making your way down here and sharing today and sharing your stories. Malcolm's got some encounters and some stories, and he knows what to look for. He's seen things like that. And I appreciate you sharing those stories. And remember, whenever you was talking, I was just listening because I was listening to everything that you said because I wanted to know everything that every little detail, everything that you was wanting to tell me. So I had a great day. Um, I I still got to do this. Finish this up tonight because I want to get this done tonight, and I'll see everyone tomorrow night. We're the group. Everyone here is the group. So make it back tomorrow, please. um, and we'll go over that part 3 because then we're going to have the test after that to make sure everyone's still right there with us, like that first test when everybody was like getting all the answers correct. I was like, yes, everybody's got every answer correct. So let's do that again. I had a great night. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, who could tune in and listening. I know it's like an hour or 2 hours that we kind of talked, but it was a good day, good tracking. There are Bigfoot still out there. Be careful out there. Know what to look for, and tune in tomorrow night. Also, tune in. But we're going to share more so that you're aware of things that just hasn't been taught. So I had a great time, a great night again. Faith, Cliff, Malcolm, everyone who's still in the room. Thank y'all for coming back and learning some more and sharing some more because that's what we're doing. We're just sharing, and we'll have more to share in just a few minutes. We'll have that uploaded, and tomorrow we'll get back. We'll get back on schedule. We just had a special day, as far as getting to go tracking, and we did find what we was looking for, and we know what we're looking for. So everyone have a great night. I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Um, and we'll do it again. We'll learn some more. We'll do it some more together. All right. Everybody have a great night.